Hey Royals, we're back with another summer edition of Royals Talk. I've got our man, rising junior point guard out of Melbourne, Florida, Brendan Goods. Brendan, welcome in.
Thank you.
All right, sunny Florida. How's it going down there? You've been home, what, a couple weeks now, kind of getting back in the groove. But how's it been kind of finishing up your sophomore year here and kind of getting back relaxing down there in Florida?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, being at Regent's a great experience, but I do love being home and I do love my family. So being able to spend time with my family and still work out as much as I can is definitely great for me.
Yeah, because you guys are in a grind really all year. Once you step foot on campus, you guys are doing some off-season things, and the season is always a grind. And then I know you had a lot of open runs here as school was closing in on the end of the semester. What do you do for some free time? I know you're working out, but how do you kick back and kind of push basketball a little bit to the side and kind of recharge yourself?
That's a good question. Honestly, for me, basketball is kind of the way I recharge myself. So I love the work. I love all of it. I love watching it. So I guess maybe just taking a break from the physical aspect and maybe developing like the cerebral aspect and just watching the game and listening to podcasts and trying to learn from great minds of the game.
All right, well, watching the game, I assume you're watching the NBA playoffs. Any take on it with the finals coming to OKC and Indiana?
Yeah, I've been saying OKC gonna win it all since before this season. So my guy Shea, he gonna pull through and we'll get it done in like probably about five or six.
All right, you heard it right there, 5 or 6. We'll hold you to that. Anyway, hey Brendan, let's talk a little bit. You came in, you transferred from a D2 school here, came to Regent. Then, first half of the season was a little bit different. Then there's a lot of change in the program. We've talked about that before during the season. But one of the things I noticed and want to kind of get your take on it, you stepped in and became a leader on the court, really running things at the point. You look at your stats, you had, I think, 7 games in double digits, even though you were running the point. I always say with you, you've got that nice little drive and step back shot in the key that seems to really work. But, talk about that change and the way the team came together in the second half of the season, put off a couple straight wins. And I think you guys really bonded and became the team that, everybody thought you would be.
Yeah, I think approach and mentality really matters for the game. And I think it was hard for some of the players to maintain the love. So once we kind of had a little bit of a change, we had more love, more energy. All the guys wanted to win for the coach and we wanted to win for each other. So it really enables us all to be much better and play as a team.
You mentioned that win for the coach. So with you guys, now, there was some uncertainty there, but Coach Allen is taking over the reins now as the official head coach of the team. And of course, Barry's coming back, and we all think the world of Barry. So you've got a steady coaching staff there. You've got Tyler as well on the staff. Talk about that, having those guys during the off season. I know you can get in touch with any of them. I know Barry keeps in touch with you guys, but having that consistency going into this season as we move into D3 and up our schedule and start competing in the coast to coast with that has 2 teams that are really solid nationally.
Yeah, they obviously have basketball knowledge and that translates in the scouting reports and schemes and all that stuff, and it's great in our plays. But I really think that their biggest strength and the way they help us is how personable they are. I feel like obviously there are coaches, but they also feel like friends. They feel like people we can talk to. So I think that goes a long way because we aren't just players, we're people. Just like they aren't just coaches, they're people.
Yeah, and you think that's, as you bring in, I know they've been recruiting hard and bringing in some new players coming in the fall. Do you think that's one of the important things with your team as you guys kind of came together? You have that family feel now, especially with your coaches, that you can kind of bring those guys and I think Barry talks a lot about them being a fit for the program. Is that something, you as an upperclassman, you'll kind of, foster with those new guys coming in?
Yeah, no, for sure. No one person can win. You were just talking about the playoffs. Jokic's one of the best players, one of the best individual, people who can get stats. But OKC was the better team and they won, just like Indiana is the better team than Knicks. So just like we did in the NBA, we got to replicate it in our version of basketball and try and have every single person buy into their role.
Yeah, absolutely. I mentioned the D3. You came from a D2 institution, so you've played at a high level. We've played D3 schools anyway on our schedule, but as you enter your junior year, your first, our first year in the coast to coast, Christopher Newport always won a national championship, always one of the top teams in the nation. Salisbury is a strong team. You've got Mary Washington, Warren Wilson, who you're familiar with. You've played them, and then Johnson and Wales is joining with us as well. So have a solid core of conference opponents. Talk about going into that with this up schedule and playing, at the highest level of D3.
Yeah, I think good competition brings the best out of us. I don't think we should. Well, this isn't a plug, but I'm reading this book now, and it kind of talks about like you don't want to play somebody who's bad or hope somebody have a bad game. You want to play someone at their best, so it brings the best out of you. And I'm hoping that happens when we play those types of teams.
Well, talk about it. You just brought up the book. I mean, is that something, a lot of this is talking about what you're doing in the summer. Is that something you like to do, is read and kind of catch up on things like that? Talk about that a little bit, because, a lot of people think athletes, they're just on the court, but I mean, you're a student too, and not only a student in the classroom, but a student in life. So talk about that.
Yeah, no, I definitely love to just learn. I love to consume knowledge. If I'm being honest, I'm not really the biggest reader, but I think, reading a book is like having a conversation with some of the greatest minds in the past. And especially when those minds have passed away and we don't have podcasts, it's sometimes the best way to extract the knowledge from them.
All right, Brendan. So we're going to keep this short today. We just want to check in with you, see how you're doing this summer. But talk about being down in Florida. I know you said basketball is a big focus in your life, but outside basketball, anything planned this summer before you get back to campus in August? Something you're looking forward to, or just being with family is the most important?
I would say being with family is the most important. My birthday is in August, so that should be cool that I can spend that with my family. But definitely taking as much family time as I can, because my brother just finished college, so I don't know where he's going to be next summer. So it could be the last family summer. So just trying to soak it all in.
All right, and one more basketball question. You and Darren Clark, we had Vlad. Vlad, kind of went down with the injury this year, and you and Darren kind of had to step up and run the show. I mean, talk about your relationship with Darren and having to run the show and take over a team that really was trying to find its identity at one point in the season.
Yeah, no, Darren's my guy. I mean, I remember when I was getting recruited, he was one of the first people to talk to me, and all that stuff. And he's always been good and a good person and just a bucket. You can really, I know I can set him up and get him the ball in a position to score, and he's going to score. So I think having that trust, kind of both ways is definitely enabled us to leverage our strengths and kind of buy into each other's roles.
All right, and last thing, as you get ready to prepare to come back in a couple months, and we talked about the schedule, what can we expect from Brendan Goods? What do you want to improve on as you go into your junior season?
I think just being more aggressive constantly, and I think that may look like more scoring, may look like more assists, whatever it is, but I think, just paint touches, putting pressure on the rim and shooting threes off the dribble, so they have to step up.
All right. Hey, Brendan, thanks for joining us real quick here on a Monday morning to start your week. Thanks for updating, and we look forward to having you back. But, of course, in the meantime, enjoy yourself down in Florida with your family, and we'll see you back in August.
Sounds good. Thank you, Chris.
All right. You're welcome. Again, that was Brendan Goods here on Royals Talk. Stay tuned each week as we update you on what the Royals athletes are doing during the summer. Until then, as always, go Royals.
Go Royals.